Did you know the word alcohol once meant coal? Some vaccines don't contain any whole virus. Not all pests are useless, and January 1st became New Year thanks to ancient calendar politics. If you love quick brain snacks, like, subscribe, and let's go! The English word alcohol comes from Arabic alcohol, which originally meant a fine powder used as kohl, an eye cosmetic, a distilled substance. Over centuries, the meaning shifted from distilled powders to distilled liquids, and from the 17th century onward alcohol came to mean concentrated spirit, the drinkable ethanol we know today. So when you say alcohol, you are actually using a word that once named makeup, from eyeliner to the pub in one linguistic leap. A single word traveled from cosmetics to chemistry to cocktails. Not every vaccine contains a whole virus. Some give the immune system just a harmless piece of the pathogen, a protein, a sugar. Others deliver genetic instructions, like mRNA, that tell your own cells to make a viral protein for the immune system to learn from. There are also inactive or split vaccines, where the pathogen is broken into pieces, or viral vector vaccines that use a harmless carrier virus carrying a gene for one viral protein. In each case, the immune system meets a safe preview of the enemy and learns to respond without getting sick. Think of it as a wanted poster or a recipe, no criminal needed. Just the ID or instruction to train the immune police. Modern vaccines can teach your immune system using a tiny recipe or a single protein. No whole virus required. Not all bugs are equal. Bad bugs, genus Chemix, are purely parasitic and give us no benefit. But many true bugs are predators of crop pests, and wild cockroach species are important decomposers, recycling plant matter and helping nutrition cycles like nitrogen. Urban cockroaches that live with humans don't help much, but scientists use some species in research and as feed for reptiles and insectivores. So while the one in your bed are nuisance, their wild cousins quietly keep ecosystems tidy. And some cockroaches even double as lab helpers and pet food. Even the lowest creepy crawlies often have a backstage job in nature's cleanup crew. The tradition of starting the year on January 1st goes back to Rome. The Julian calendar, introduced by Julius Caesar, fixed January as the start of the year, partly because consuls assumed office then, and that convention survived through later calendar reforms into the Gregorian calendar most countries use. Cultures and countries shifted New Year dates over centuries, so the date is as much political and calendrical convention as it is celebration. Imagine governments and church leaders arguing over when the year begins. The date on your party invite is a historical compromise. January 1st isn't just tradition, it's the outcome of calendar politics, consular terms, and centuries of reform. From a word that wandered from cosmetics to spirits, to vaccines that train immunity without whole viruses, to insects that quietly help the planet, and the long story behind January 1st. Tiny facts reveal huge histories. Which one surprised you the most? If you learned something new, like this video, subscribe for more quick wonders, and drop one word in the comments. Alcohol, vaccine, bugs, or January, for the fact that blew your mind. Share with a friend who loves old history, and tell me what mystery you want explained next. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and see you in the next Tiny Wonders.